moments when the weight of life feels too heavy to carry. Days when the world seems quiet, and you wonder if anyone sees your effort, your pain, your silent battle. But I want you to know, deep within you lies a power that has never given up. And today, I am here to remind you of that power. You've already come so far, farther than you realize, farther than you ever thought you could on some days. And that matters. That means something. Every single moment when you felt like breaking down and somehow found the strength to breathe through the pain, that counts. The nights you cried quietly, praying for peace, and still got up the next morning, that counts. The days when you felt invisible and unworthy, and yet you chose to show up for life anyway, that counts more than you know. You didn't come this far just to turn back. You didn't survive everything you've been through just to surrender now. The things you've overcome have shaped your resilience, softened your heart, and awakened a wisdom within you that no one can take away. Sometimes you forget how powerful you are because you've become used to surviving, but you are more than a survivor. You are a creator, a healer, a light. Even if it feels like nothing is changing right now, it doesn't mean your progress isn't real. Healing is not always loud. Growth doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it's the simple decision to rest when you're overwhelmed. Sometimes it's choosing not to reply to that message that once triggered you. Sometimes it's saying no when you used to say yes out of fear. These are all signs that you're moving forward, even when your mind tries to convince you otherwise. You've already made it through the storms you thought would last forever. Remember those seasons when you didn't think you could make it? You made it. It didn't break you, it built you. And yes, you may have some scars, but those are not signs of weakness. They are signs of healing. They are reminders that you fought battles no one saw and emerged with more depth, more compassion, more understanding than ever before. You've already come so far in learning how to let go of what no longer serves you. That relationship that drained you, you walked away even if it hurt. That belief that said you weren't good enough, you challenged it even if it still whispers in the background sometimes. That habit that numbed your feelings, you're slowly replacing it with healthier choices. That's not small. That's transformation. That's brave. And maybe you're still carrying a little fear, a little doubt, a little exhaustion, and that's okay. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't need to be perfectly healed to honor your progress. What matters is that you keep moving, even when it's slow, even when it's messy. Forward is forward. There are still dreams waiting for you, peace that's already on its way. People who will meet you with love and grace, not judgment. Experiences that will fill your heart and remind you why it was all worth it. The road behind you is long, yes, but the road ahead holds blessings you can't even imagine yet. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not coming. Life works in quiet, magical ways. The universe is always rearranging itself to support your healing, your joy, your becoming. So don't measure your worth by how quickly you're moving. Don't compare your journey to anyone else's. You've already come so far in learning how to trust yourself, how to honor your boundaries, how to say this is enough and walk away from what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. That strength is rare. That courage is beautiful. Give yourself credit. You've already rewritten parts of your story that used to hurt. You've already found light in places where it once felt hopeless. You've already become someone more grounded, more conscious, more aware. And you're still becoming. There's more to discover within you, more strength, more love, more joy, more purpose. Keep going, not because you have to, but because your future self is cheering you on. Keep going because you're not starting over. You're building on everything you've already done. The path ahead may still hold some challenges, but nothing you face will be greater than what you've already overcome. You've already come so far. And your journey isn't done. The best parts of your life are not behind you. They're unfolding in this very moment, in the quiet strength you carry, in the hope you still hold on to, in the love you are learning to give yourself. You are not failing. You are not lost. You are simply growing through the parts of your life that are teaching you how strong you truly are. And the truth is, you've already come so far, and you're only just beginning to rise. You may be feeling tired, lost, unworthy, or overwhelmed right now, and that's okay. You are allowed to feel everything you feel. You don't need to apologize for your emotions, hide your tears, or pretend to be fine when you're hurting inside. Your feelings are valid. Every ache, every doubt, every fear, every flicker of hope, these emotions are part of your human experience. They come as messengers. They arise to be seen, felt, and honored. You are not weak for having emotions. You are not broken because you sometimes feel fragile. You are human, and that is a beautiful, sacred thing. But here is what you must remember. While your feelings are real and meaningful, they are not final. They are not the whole truth. They do not define who you are or where your life is headed. Feelings are temporary. They rise, they peak, and they pass. Like waves in the ocean, they may crash hard, but they always recede. You may feel hopeless today, but that does not mean your future will be hopeless. You may feel unloved right now, but that doesn't mean you are unlovable. What you feel in this moment is not a life sentence. It is a moment in time, and all moments change. When you allow yourself to sit with your feelings without judgment, without resistance, you begin to heal. Healing doesn't mean you never feel sadness, anger, or fear again. Healing means you no longer become those emotions. You recognize them, you greet them with compassion, and you let them move through you like wind through open windows. You understand that emotions are energy in motion, and they only get stuck when we fight them, suppress them, or identify with them too deeply. Sometimes we say things to ourselves like, I'm always anxious, or I'm just not good enough, or I'll never be okay again. But those statements are not truths. They're temporary emotional conclusions. Feelings can trick you into believing that your darkest moment is your forever reality. But it's not. The heaviness you feel right now is not permanent. It may linger, it may take time to lighten, but it is not forever. Even the deepest pain eventually softens when met with love and patience. You are allowed to feel angry without being consumed by anger. You are allowed to feel sad without drowning in sorrow. You are allowed to feel unsure without giving up on your path. Your emotions are not a reflection of failure. They are a sign that you are alive, sensitive, and aware. They show that you are paying attention to your inner world, and that is something to honor, not reject. Sometimes we're taught to push our feelings down, to stay strong by pretending nothing affects us. But true strength is not suppression. True strength is presence. It is being able to say, I am hurting right now, and I will be gentle with myself while I heal. It is being able to feel deeply without letting those feelings define your worth. You are not your sadness. You are not your anger. You are not your loneliness. You are the one experiencing those emotions, not the emotions themselves. And that means you are always more powerful than the feeling that is passing through. When we give ourselves permission to feel what we feel without shame, healing begins. Healing happens in the softness, in the silence, in the moments when we hold ourselves in compassion instead of criticism. Some days will feel heavy, some days will feel light, and both are part of the journey. The key is not to force yourself into joy, but to trust that joy will return, because it always does. No matter how long the night, the sun always rises again. Your heart knows how to find the light. It remembers how to heal, even when your mind forgets. So if today is a heavy day, let it be. Don't fight it. Sit with it. Wrap your arms around yourself and whisper, I'm here for you. I see you. I'm not giving up on you. That is love. That is what your emotions long to feel. Not rejection, but acceptance. You don't need to fix your feelings. You only need to honor them, and then gently release them when they're ready to go. And they will go. The sadness will fade. The confusion will clear. The anxiety will ease. The numbness will thaw. And in their place will come peace, understanding, clarity, and grace. Because you are always in motion. You are always evolving. Nothing stays the same forever, not even the pain. So breathe. You are not stuck. You are simply moving through a season that will pass. Your feelings are valid, but they are not final. Let them rise. Let them teach you. Let them go. And trust, no matter what you feel right now, better days are still ahead. You were made for more than survival. You weren't born just to wake up, go through the motions, and collapse into bed every night wondering if this is all there is. Deep within you there is a longing, a soft yet steady voice whispering that life is meant to be more than just getting by, more than enduring, more than repeating yesterday in an endless loop of responsibilities and routine. Survival is important. It's what kept you here through the hottest seasons. It's what carried you when you felt broken, tired, and lost. You should honor that part of yourself, the part that got up when it would have been easier to stay down, the part that kept moving even when you were unsure of the path. Survival is brave. It takes strength. But now it's time to move beyond it, because you were not meant to merely exist. You were meant to live, to feel deeply, to experience joy, to laugh without fear, and to love without shrinking. You were made to grow, to rise, to create something meaningful from the raw material of your life. You were made to touch the lives of others just by being your true self. There's a difference between living in fear and living in faith. When you're surviving, you stay small, not because you're weak, but because it feels safer. You silence your voice to keep the peace. You settle for what's in front of you because reaching for more seems risky. You accept pain because you've grown used to it. But that is not your destiny. You are not here to live in the shadow of your potential. There is something inside you that wants to stretch and grow and breathe freely. You may not always know what it looks like yet, but you can feel it. It tugs at you when you're quiet. It shows up in your dreams, in the moments when your heart feels restless, in the times when you ask yourself, is this it? That quiet ache is not something to ignore. It's your soul calling you back to yourself. You were made for joy that lasts longer than a fleeting moment. You were made for peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. You were made to know your worth so deeply that no rejection, no failure, no loss can take it from you. That kind of life doesn't come from chasing approval. It comes from knowing who you are beneath the layers of survival. You are not your wounds. You are not your past. You are not the mistakes you made when you were doing your best with what you knew. You are a whole and beautiful being still becoming. There is light in you that no one can extinguish. And even if that light has dimmed from years of hardship, it still burns. It only takes a spark, a moment of belief, a shift in perspective, a single act of courage to bring it back to life. Living beyond survival means trusting that you deserve more. It means allowing yourself to rest without guilt, to dream without limitation, and to say no to what drains your spirit. It means choosing alignment over obligation. It means understanding that you are allowed to leave what is familiar if it no longer feeds your soul. Yes, survival got you here, but now it's time to thrive. And thriving isn't about being perfect or getting everything right. It's about choosing yourself over and over again. It's about showing up with compassion for your journey and courage for your future. It's about creating a life that reflects the truth of who you are, not the fears that were passed down to you. You are not here to simply endure. You are here to evolve, to rise out of what once hurt you and into the peace that was always meant for you. You are here to soften, to open, to receive. You are here to love boldly and live honestly. You are here to find your voice, speak your truth, and trust that being your authentic self is more than enough. So let this be your turning point. Let this be the moment you stop apologizing for wanting more. Let this be the day you give yourself permission to step beyond the boundaries of survival and into the vast, sacred space of possibility. You are not made to carry the weight of the world on your back. You are made to dance with it, to find rhythm and grace in the unfolding of your life. You are allowed to live fully. You are allowed to feel joy. You are allowed to rise. Because you were made for more than survival. You were made for a life that lights you up from the inside out. And that life, it begins the moment you decide that you're worthy of it. There is a quiet strength that lives in surrender, a power that doesn't come from fighting harder, but from letting go. Often we're taught that to succeed, we must never stop pushing, never loosen our grip, never rest. We're conditioned to believe that surrender is weakness, that it means giving up. But the truth is there is a vast difference between quitting and surrendering. Quitting comes from hopelessness. Surrender comes from wisdom. Quitting is rooted in fear. Surrender is rooted in trust. Surrender does not mean you no longer care. It does not mean you have failed. It means you are releasing the need to control every outcome, every person, every twist in the road. It means you are choosing peace over panic. It means you are allowing space for grace to enter. Surrender is the moment you say, I've done my part, and now I let go. It's the moment you stop trying to force life to obey your expectations and start trusting that a higher wisdom is guiding you. There is power in that, real, undeniable power, because surrender creates flow. It opens the door for miracles that control keeps shut. When we're clinging tightly to what we think must happen, we're often blocking what could happen. We're so busy managing every little detail that we miss the signs, the synchronicities, the blessings disguised as redirection. Letting go isn't giving up, it's giving over. It's handing your burden to something greater than yourself. It's whispering, I don't have to carry this alone. And in that moment, the weight begins to lift. You begin to breathe again. Not because the situation has magically changed, but because you have. Your energy shifts. Your heart softens. Your mind finds quiet. That is where peace begins. Not when life is perfect, but when you stop resisting it. Surrender asks us to trust the process even when we don't understand it. It invites us to believe that delays are not denials, that detours are not failures, and that silence doesn't mean absence. It's easy to have faith when everything is going well, but true surrender is choosing to believe even when the road is dark and unclear. It's saying, even if I don't know how this will work out, I trust that it will. And this kind of trust doesn't just apply to situations, it applies to people, to outcomes, to ourselves. Sometimes we hold on to relationships long past their expiration date because we're afraid to surrender the connection. We think letting go is losing. But what if letting go is winning back your peace? What if surrendering the version of love that hurts you makes room for the love that heals you? The same applies to dreams. There are moments when our vision doesn't unfold the way we planned. We meet roadblocks, setbacks, rejections. The ego screams, "Keep pushing, don't give up." But the soul whispers, "Let it breathe, let it evolve." Surrender doesn't mean you abandon your dreams. It means you release the tight grip on how and when they must happen. It means you trust that if something is meant for you, it cannot miss you. And if it misses you, it wasn't meant for your highest good. There is great freedom in this kind of surrender. You no longer need to exhaust yourself trying to manipulate life. You no longer feel broken when things don't go your way. You begin to see the beauty in the unfolding. You learn to say, "I may not understand it now, but I believe one day I will." And in the meantime, you rest, you realign, you focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your energy, your choices. The truth is, life moves in seasons. Some seasons are meant for action, some for stillness, some for sowing, some for reaping. Surrender teaches us how to honor the rhythm of our lives. It teaches us to listen more closely, to stop fighting against the current and learn how to float. Because sometimes the current knows the way. This does not make you passive, it makes you powerful in a new way. You are no longer reactive, you are responsive. You are no longer frantic, you are centered. You are no longer tied to outcomes, you are rooted in presence. And from this place, you attract what is right for you. You magnetize peace, purpose, and people who reflect your new vibration. You don't have to hustle for your worth. You don't have to force life into shape. You are allowed to rest, to trust, to release. Because the power you've been seeking doesn't lie in fighting harder. It lies in surrendering with grace. And when you do, you'll discover that the universe never stopped working on your behalf. You were never alone. You were always being guided lovingly, gently back to yourself. Your worth is not defined by a setback, not by the mistake you made, not by the person who walked away, not by the opportunity you lost, and not by the season that left you feeling broken. You are not the job you didn't get. You are not the relationship that didn't work. You are not the goal that slipped through your fingers. These are chapters in your story, not the whole book. Your worth is not up for negotiation just because life didn't go according to plan. We all stumble. We all fall. We all have moments when we feel like everything we built has come crashing down. But setbacks are not signs that you are failing at life. They are invitations to pause, to reflect, and to realign. They are teachers disguised as disappointments. They show up not to shame you, but to shape you. And yet, when things don't go as expected, it's so easy to internalize the failure, to think, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I'll never get it right. But those thoughts are not truth. They are temporary illusions born from pain and fear. You wouldn't speak that way to someone you love, so why say it to yourself? The truth is, your value does not disappear when your plans fall apart. Your worth is not tied to your achievements or your performance. You don't become less because something didn't work out. You are still whole, still deserving, still capable, still enough. Setbacks can feel deeply personal, but they are often simply part of the journey. No one walks a straight path to success or healing or growth. Life moves in spirals and seasons in unexpected directions, and sometimes what feels like a loss is actually a redirection, a gentle nudge from the universe guiding you towards something even better, something more aligned with who you truly are. There is no shame in trying and falling short. There is courage in showing up, in putting your heart on the line, in reaching for something beyond your current reality. You dared to believe in something bigger, and that alone is powerful. Don't let one setback make you doubt your entire journey. You are not behind, you are not broken, you are evolving. And evolution is not always graceful. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it feels like taking one step forward and two steps back. But every step, even the backwards ones, serve a purpose. They teach you, they strengthen you, they strip away what no longer serves you so you can rise lighter and clearer. Think of all the times you've thought you were done for, and yet you're still here, breathing, learning, growing. That's resilience. That's strength. You may not give yourself credit for it, but you should. Because every time you didn't quit, you proved to yourself that setbacks don't define you. Your ability to rise does. And rising doesn't always mean bouncing back instantly. Sometimes it means sitting with the disappointment, allowing yourself to grieve, and then gently choosing to believe again. It means being kind to yourself in the midst of the mess, speaking love over your wounds instead of shame. You don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You just have to be willing to keep going. You are allowed to rest without labeling yourself lazy. You are allowed to heal without a deadline. You are allowed to begin again as many times as it takes. You are not late. You are not lost. You are right where you need to be to become who you're meant to become. Sometimes the most beautiful breakthroughs come right after the hardest breakdowns. Sometimes the setback clears the path for a more authentic version of you to emerge. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of your performance, but through the truth of your presence, your heart, your compassion, your light. Your worth is found in who you are, not in what you do. It's in your kindness, your courage, your capacity to love, to hope, to rise. It's in the way you continue to believe even when you have every reason not to. It's in the quiet strength you show when no one's watching. As far as one can do. So the next time you face a setback, remember this. It does not mean you are unworthy. It simply means you're human. And being human means navigating highs and lows, wins and losses, clarity and confusion. It's all part of the path. You don't need to be perfect to be valuable. You don't need to succeed every time to be worthy of joy. You are enough. Not because of what you've achieved, but because of who you are at your core, a radiant, evolving soul, doing the best you can with what you have. So take a breath, forgive yourself, keep going. Your story is not over, and one setback does not rewrite your truth. You are still worthy. You always have been. You always will be. Someone out there needs your story, not the polished version, not the version you think people will accept, but the real, raw, unfiltered truth of what you've lived through. Someone out there is waiting to hear the very words you're afraid to speak, the pain you've carried, the lessons you've learned, the nights you thought you wouldn't survive. Those pieces of your journey are not meaningless. They are medicine for someone else's healing. It's easy to think that our story doesn't matter, that our past is too messy, too broken, too ordinary to be of any value. But that's not true. Your experiences, no matter how quiet or chaotic, hold a light that someone else is searching for. You've walked through things others are just now stepping into. You've felt things others are too afraid to name. You've made it through what others still think they won't survive. And in sharing your truth, you become a mirror. You show others what is possible. You don't need a perfect ending to be an inspiration. You don't need a platform, a title, or an audience. All you need is the courage to be honest about what you've lived through. Because healing is not always about giving advice. It's about saying, "Me too." It's about reminding someone who feels alone that they're not. Your story can be the bridge that carries them from despair to hope, from shame to self-acceptance. There's someone out there right now questioning their worth, drowning in silence, thinking they are the only one who has felt so lost, so small, so unseen. Your story, your survival, is proof that pain does not get the final say, that darkness does not last forever, that brokenness can be transformed into beauty. When you speak your truth, you help others find the courage to speak theirs. Maybe you've kept parts of your story buried, thinking it's safer that way. Maybe you've convinced yourself that no one would understand. But what if the very parts of your past you're hiding are the ones that carry the most light? What if your scars are not signs of weakness, but maps someone else can follow to find their own way home? Your vulnerability is not something to be ashamed of. It is a gift, a sacred offering of authenticity in a world that too often rewards pretending. You've grown through what once nearly broke you. You've found strength in places you thought only held pain. That strength is not just for you, it's meant to be shared. Not to impress or to prove anything, but to uplift. To remind others that healing is possible, that growth is real, and that they are not alone in their struggle. There is someone who needs to know that it's okay to fall apart and start over. Someone who needs to know that they can forgive themselves, that they can let go of guilt, that they can choose peace even after chaos. And your story might be the whisper that tells them it's safe to believe in themselves again. You don't have to have everything figured out to be a light for someone else. You just have to be willing to show up as you are. Because honesty is powerful. It breaks down walls. It softens fear. It invites connection. When you open up about your journey, you invite others to do the same. And in that sacred exchange, healing multiplies. Even if only one person hears your story and feels seen, it's worth it. Even if your voice shakes, even if your heart races, your truth still matters. Someone out there is praying for hope, for a sign, for someone to say, "I've been where you are, and I made it." Be that voice. Be that light. You never know how far your words will travel, how many hearts they will touch, how many lives they will shift. What you've been through is not just a story. It's a testimony, a reminder that the human spirit is resilient, that grace is real, and that love is still the most powerful force in the universe. So don't hold your story hostage to fear. Don't let shame silence your voice. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be real. And in your realness, there is healing, there is connection, there is purpose. Your story might just be the lifeline someone else has been waiting for. Let it be heard, let it be seen, let it be the light that reminds someone else they can keep going too.